So I wanted also to talk about regional peering and transit, how one can go about it, okay? What are the steps? You have an organization, you have a network, you want to, you are interested to do some peering, okay? You've seen that probably in Addis Ababa you cannot do peering because probably your interest into ADIX members is not what you want, but probably you want to do peering in Djibouti, for example. So that's the nearest place, or at any close exchange point in the region. So what are the steps that you need to do for you to do that? So identifying the regional peering and transit perspective, first of all, you need to have visibility in terms of traffic, okay? Traffic, you need to have some tools, NetFlow, SFlows, monitoring tools that can tell you the source, the destination of your traffic, being traffic coming in your network or being traffic that is going out of your network. You need to have that visibility so that you can have insights on the various destinations and sources. Then you have to have an insight to network regional destination, and then you need to look at the opportunities. In your region, what are the opportunities that are there? Are they networks that are of your interest? Are they in Mediterranean? Are they in Europe? Are they in South Africa? Are they in East Africa? Are they probably somewhere in Kenya? Not probably Djibouti, but Kenya. You need to have that kind of insight. So after analyzing all those flows or NetFlow or SFlows, in this example, we are looking at an AS called 13335, which is the AS that is used by Cloudflare. So from there, what do? You see that Cloudflare is your interest, Netflix is your interest, Akamai is your interest. Any content that is hosted for, let's say, Amharic content is your interest. You know the AS number behind which that content is. What do you do next? The next step is to look at some information about that AS. And where do we look at any information when when you want to look at any information? Where do you go? What is the place you go to? Where do you go? No, it's not you. Where do you? No, I'm not. I was not asking you where do you go. No, when you have an information about traffic, that's a very good job. So when you're looking for some specific traffic from any specific AS, where do you go? We've just talked about it. Peering DB. Okay? So you need to, first of all, to go to the place where you can find all the information about that network is Peering DB. Okay? And that's the reason why whoever is looking for you should find you at Peering DB. So if you're looking for any information, you should find them at Peering DB. If you want to be found, you have to be on Peering DB. Okay? So you go to the website of Peering DB. Ben has mentioned that. You go, you put your AS. You can put directly the AS you are looking for directly, or you can put your prefix, right? Put your prefix. You see, you can look for exchanges, networks, facilities, carriers, and so on and so forth. So once you have that information, for example, you can see that there are networks that having this AS. You have Cloudflare. You have something called Anunga, Pulban, or Berkikan, something like that. You find something that is close to this number, okay? But what your interest is, Cloudflare, okay? So now you have that information. You can dig deeper into the Cloudflare account, okay? What are the information available? The website, the AS number, the network type, the last peering information were added when, where are they peering? This is where your interest should be. As soon as you identify the network, you need to find out where you can meet them. At which exchange can you meet them? Okay? So let's see here. You have something in AU, you have something UA, you have something ABKIX, CITX, some exchange point. At least you have an Amsterdam exchange point here, okay? So once you have interest, then you can click on that exchange point. You will find Cloudflare at that destination, okay? So after finding that information at PeeringDB, there is another way you can find information. It is by using Atlas probes. So by using Atlas probes, I don't know how many Atlas probes are in Ethiopia, but the more you have Atlas probes in your country, the better it is. You can do measurements and tests from those Atlas probes, and then know exactly the measurements from your network or from those Atlas probes to the destination that you are interested in. In this case, it was a test done from Atlas probes that were located in Tanzania, and the interest was from Tanzania, where can I find Cloudflare? And interestingly, when you look at this line here, you can find that this Atlas probe that has the ID 24751, which is passing through SEACOM, had the least hops and the least millisecond. So what does that mean? It means if you're in Tanzania and you're looking for Cloudflare, you need to do peering with SEACOM, okay? So those are the procedures for you to go and look for that specific networks you're interested in. Another example, let's say, for example, you're looking for Netflix or Akamai or, I don't know, AT&T or Amazon Prime content or Showmax content, or as Ralph was mentioning, you're interested in TikTok content. You run those measurements using PeeringDB. Where is TikTok at which exchange point? You do those measurements with probes. You find the least hops, the least milliseconds round trip time. Then once that destination is identified, now you can now start planning to deploy into that network or that region, okay? So what's next? Next is to determining the network expansion. How are you going to build into that facility? Let's say I am in Rwanda, I'm interested in Cloudflare, they are in South Africa. I need to expand my network into South Africa. How do I go about that? Okay. So you need to estimate and look at how you can improve, how you can extend your network towards that facility. Most of the time, it is easy to contact that network. Most of the times, they have easy address network knock at network. Knock at Netflix, not knock at, let's say, Amazon Prime and so on and so forth. I'm making up the names. But once you have that contact, that location, it is easy. You write to them and say, I'm interested. How can we do peering together? Okay? So using email addresses. You can use the meetings. You can use the peering forums to do those introductions. You can send an email first and then probably find out where they will be. If they are at AFPIF, you can get introduced to each other at those events. Okay. So you can also use peering at as a mailing list or to get in contact with them. You can include a description of your network. For example, you can make them being interested in your network. I am so-and-so, my network is here, my point of presence are in Djibouti. I'm interested in your content. You introduce yourself, your network, and also you give your PeeringDB handle for them to find out more about you. You can create a list of favorable responses and how much traffic that represents. Now, what is very important is how to expand your network in order to peer. Alternatively, it may make sense to buy regional transit from a provider already connected to those networks you intend to reach. at a cost that is lower than international transit. Sometimes you may find that the interest in that network is through CECOM. You can either buy capacity through CECOM, that's the low-hanging fruit, or if it is necessary, you can probably build your network towards South Africa or that region where you want to go. Okay. You can get quotations for the collocations because that market, that exchange point facility has some requirements. You get some quotations to find out how much it will cost you to put a POP there. Okay. You divide that cost by how much traffic you deliver to see how much it will cost you per. So if you have transit costs, you have a price. If you have leased transit or leased capacity, you have a certain price. You take that price, you divide it by the capacity, you compare the transit cost and the leased price, and then you find out which is good for your case and to expand your network. Transit may cost less. It's always cheap to peer. Transit may cost less, but it is always cheap to peer. Consider other factors like performance, redundancy, ability to meet previously unattended peers, and peering policy. The good thing about going with the non-transit option is that once you reach that place or that market, you can even buy other content or find other peers. You also get a quote from AS, in this case, AS 37100 for regional transit to Cloudflare and compare how much is the cost is. So you will always compare the transit and the peering. Okay, so that's logically, theoretically, the approach once you want to expand. Okay, let me bring this conversation locally here. Let's not think about regional, but here locally. You are a bank and you're interested in, for example, your clients, you're a bank, but your clients are maybe at, let's say, at from Ethio Telecom or from WebSprix. The question that you will ask yourself is, oh, how can I reach WebSprix? WebSprix is where? They are at Addix. Okay, where is Addix? Addix is in Wingu. Am I having a POP in Wingu? Yes, I have a POP in Wingu. So what I will need is just a cross connect to Addix, and then I can access WebSprix. So from a national perspective, that's how far you go. Okay, you don't need to go really to peering DB. But once you want to go out of your country or out of your region, then you need to look at more information and so on and so forth. So that's basically how you find out who you want to do peering with and how you build your network into that region. You either pass through transit or you pass through leased capacity. You compare always transit capacity and leased capacity, and then you find what is good for you. Sometimes transit can be cheaper, but peering can be more advantageous if you can even have more traffic that you can fetch from that level. So with that, I think I will stop here and probably welcome any questions that you may have. Thank you very much for your attention.